evidence around the use of masks by the general public, especially outdoors, is extremely weak.
The evidence on face masks has always been quite variable, quite weak, quite difficult to know exactly, and there's no real trials on it. And we've undertaken a review. We'll give our advice to ministers, and they'll make decisions about what to do around that.
Many countries have been buying face masks, as have we. But the position on face masks is unchanged.
In terms of wearing a mask, our advice is clear that wearing a mask if you don't have an infection really reduces the risk almost not at all. So we do not advise that.
What I'd say is that on face masks we are guided by the science, and the government position hasn't changed. Professor McLean will explain the science. The government position, the UK government position, hasn't changed. Not least because the most important thing people can do is the social distancing.
The recommendation from SAGE is completely clear, which is that there is weak evidence of a small effect in which a face mask can prevent a source of infection going from somebody who is infected to the people around them. But the answer is clear, that the evidence is weak and the effect is small, and we've passed that on to our colleagues in government with which to make a decision.
Well, you might ask yourself, why am I wearing this mask? Well, I'm wearing this mask for a reason. It's because the government want me to. They want to send a message, and when every time somebody says, well, you started out at the beginning with the World Health Organization saying masks weren't any good and they didn't work. That's what you said, not what I said. That's what you said. And then we have Chris Whitty, who said that masks are a bit of a waste of time. They don't really work. And then we've had a whole mass of scientific opinion from people who say that it might work, it might not work, it might work a bit, so on and so forth. And it's gone on and it's gone on and it's gone on. Jeepers creepers, I don't know about you, but I'm totally fed up with it. So whenever the government are asked, they say, well, it's to send a message. And Sir Graham Brady in the House of Commons the other day, he asked the Minister for Health, what is the point of them? Where's the scientific evidence? What's it all about? And the Minister for Health didn't know. He said, well, you know, nobody really agrees on this, but they've made it mandatory again. They've made it mandatory to go into shops and for our poor little kids. And yet again, the nativity plates for Christmas being cancelled. The whole miserable wheel goes round and round and round. And yet there's a new strain, yet another mutation. What a surprise. It's a coronavirus. Of course it mutates. This one, by all accounts, is going to be even milder, but it's not stopping everybody panicking. I'm fed up with all this. Are you fed up with this? A lot of you don't care, do you? A lot of you actually rather, I think, enjoy being locked down, having your lives mucked around with and your children mucked around with. It seems that some of you don't seem to care. But I know that a lot of you do, and a lot of you are pushing back. But this is up to you. This is up to you. This is up to you. The longer we put up with this silly nonsense, this change, up 1 minute, down the next, so on and so forth, until we stop it, it will continue with the idiots, the fraudsters and the crooks that run the country, their chums in banking and their chums in big pharma. It won't ever stop until we stop it. Now, under the rules, and the rules are the same, the rules are the same as they were last time, and I've done another clip on masks. My clip was last year and it's attached to this. You can have a look at it. You don't need to wear a mask if it upsets you or distresses you in any way. You can exempt yourself. Now, I wear a little badge on mine. I don't have to. That's not the law. I don't have to. Because I don't want some poor little girl or some poor little boy on the minimum wage in a store being lent on by their managers or by the government to challenge me whether I wear a mask or not. So I make it very clear that I'm exempt on medical grounds. So I'm exempt. And you can make yourself exempt too. And the more people that we make exempt, the less likely they are to muck us around in the future. Why don't you stuff your mask into an envelope and send it to the Prime Minister? He might get an idea of what you think. Or this weird guy that seems to be the Minister for Health, and all these creepy little people like Chris Whitty and Pat Vallance, all these people, don't you think they're weird? I think they're weird. And let's get back to having a decent Christmas. Let's have nativity plays. Let's do what we want to. Let's have our families round. Stop the threat, this constant threat that they're going to take away our Christmas. And I have to say, by some people who aren't Christians at all, who probably don't actually value the Christmas festivity. It's a Christian festival. It's a family festival. It's a British thing. It's a European thing. It's a North American thing. Let us enjoy it, please, government, all governments. Let us enjoy it. Let's get away from this jackboot totalitarian state that everybody seems to want to live in. I don't. Do you? Well, greetings to you. As you know, social media was a wonderful invention so that we could all communicate with each other and share our views and share views that aren't necessarily in line with the establishment, the global establishment, which is run mainly by banks and big pharma. So I've been doing my best to do that, but I am increasingly being shadow banned or taken down, and so are many others. So beware of that, and I will be tagging anything I do in the future with various sources and various channels so that you will know, well, I've been censored from this, but I've been censored, but you can find it somewhere else. So the whole thing can continue. And I think some of these new channels, which aren't owned by the establishment or influenced by the establishment, banks and big pharma and all the rest, you'll be able to follow the facts. And that doesn't mean fact checkers, of course, which are owned by the establishment. So I just thought I'd give you the heads up on that. And thank you for your sponsorship and your support. I thank you for it. Without you and the information that sometimes you people send me, I couldn't continue. Thank you again. As most of you know, my work is very heavily independently research based. And I get my information from all over the world. It would help if you press the subscribe button and the little bell next to it, because the more subscribers I have, the more likely it is that international independent research institutes will share their material with me. It's most helpful, and then of course I automatically share it with you. So, surprise, won't cost you anything. Thank you very much.